together will be Sunday evening for dinner. But I think we made some strides in Brad's only second season here as the general manager. Similar, I did have a great opportunity to spend a bit of time and have dinner with Chief last night, and we certainly made some strides under Chief. Yes, we won the Atlantic Division, and we came one game to making the conference finals and beating the defending champions and a pretty good Florida team that seems to be having their way with the Carolina Hurricanes right now.
Kipper?
Okay, so
good is good enough.
Yeah, no, that's not what he said, but he's, yeah, I don't agree with him with within one game. Like, that one game was like
Miles away.
Miles away.
It was 2 games.
Yeah.
Correct.
And you
Yes.
lost a combined 12-2 in those 2 games.
Yes. And that's what kind of feels like the separation between Earth and the moon.
What's
for
hard
many
is like
fans. For many fans.
Yeah,
Like, you're not, you really, when you get beat that bad at home, you're really not that close.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's hard is like so much of it is semantics, and like I appreciate putting a shine on the Leafs. You're the guy. That's absolutely fair. But to say they took a step this year, they were definitely different.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I mean, 3 years ago they had 115 points. 2 years ago they had 111 points. This year they had 108, and they won the Atlantic because the other teams were worse.
Mhm.
I don't know. They lose in the second round again. It's
Got by far their easiest draw in the first round because of that.
yeah.
Kind of got a little sputtery in that series before they ultimately won it.
Yeah.
And then
But
you
I
lost
don't
to
know.
Panthers.
Like a stride is okay. They didn't get worse for sure. They were the same team they've been.
This time last year, I believe that he had confidence in Brendan Shanahan. A year later, he had to move off of him.
Okay.
He's got, as he was quoted today, incredible confidence in Brad Treliving.
Mhm.
Should he?
Well, I don't know. Like what's the we talked a little bit about this in the past, but so he without that layer of a hockey person to hire a GM and say, this guy knows his stuff, does that change things for you now that it's kind of up to him who he's
Well, I understand if you're Keith Pelly that, for whatever reason, and I think you brought this up, that it seems to, everybody seems to be at different stages, right? And it could certainly be deemed unfair to have let Brad Treliving go on such a short period of time,
for sure.
right? But if they falter next season, if they have a bad year, if they're just close but not close enough to even, I don't know, if Mitch is gone and you don't replace those points and John Tavares gone, you don't replace those points, could they miss the playoffs? And then where would Brad Treliving be next year at this time? Like, could you really see if the Leafs take a significant dip next season that he'd keep his job after the season?
Yeah, I mean, it depends.
So are
right?
you
Like,
chasing? Are you kind of chasing this thing?
To clarify the stages thing, like I just look at one of the defining parts of Brendan Shanahan's tenure was sort of impermanence to me, where Shanahan came in the first year and he didn't hire anyone, so he just wanted to evaluate things for a year. Then he eventually, he hired, after that they got rid of Carlisle and he hired Babcock, but they hadn't hired a GM. So the GM didn't get to pick their own guy. So then they hired Dubas, who didn't pick Babcock. And then they hired Lamoriello, who didn't pick Dubas. And then, eventually it was like Dubas, it happened with Treliving. Treliving ends up with Keefe, who he didn't pick. It's just this like succession of people who like don't have their people.
Yeah.
And now we're in a position where it feels like Pelly's the guy, didn't pick Treliving. Just like, I would just like some sort of like, we all have the guys we want to have.
It's a fantastic point.
You're absolutely correct that it just doesn't, it's never really slotted correctly.
So maybe he likes Tree like that.
So maybe one of the reasons why they're not getting a president is because the first thing everyone's going to say is, well, Tree's not his guy, or he never hired Berube. And now you lift all of that by Keith reaffirming he likes these guys, he believes in them, and they're staying.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the but, is that if they're staying, they're under tremendous amount of pressure to find a way to keep this thing going that Brendan has, which is
Stability.
it's not making the playoffs is never an issue.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you better make sure it's not an issue next season, or else Keith Pelly's going to have to do another press conference to announce that he's needing a new general manager.
Would he later hire a president? And look, I'm throwing stuff at the wall, and I think Tree has been
I
think
all
Tree's
three
been
of us
good
do.
in his 2 years. The decor is
So,
better. The team's good.
To your point about the president's thing, we do have a clip on that, Derek. Pelly clip 6 on if he will replace Shanny.
My plan right now is to not replace Brendan, and Brad will be our GM. Whether he takes on a larger role is something that will be determined down the road. But the reality is we're a different organization because we have multiple teams. So as a result, when you have multiple teams, you have centers of excellence. And that is from your commercial side, from your ticket side, from your marketing side, from your communication side. So there are many teams, as you know, that has presidents and general managers and don't have separate presidents and general managers, similar to the National Basketball Association. There's not a right and a wrong way to do it. But at the same time, there's no real need at this particular time to make a haste decision. So everything that we will do will be methodical, and if we feel that we need to make a move like that, then we will. But at this particular time, there's no plan to do that. I have the utmost confidence in Brad Treliving and Craig Berube as our coach.
So can I ask?
What centers of excellence means? Anyway.
No, I mean there's a lot of
Jargon.
There's a lot of bumbo jumbo there for me. It's not for my level of intelligence. I would say it's above me.
Wow.
But here's what I'll say: the Leafs got eliminated on Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's now Friday. So this guy that you have all this confidence in, and all this, like the guy that's running the Toronto Maple Leafs, we haven't heard from him yet.
It's actually insane. They're going to go a whole week without having Tree weigh in.
It's really like.
Well, he's at his daughter's graduation, and we respect family for sure, but it's a tough one to miss for Brad Tree.
Well, but if he knew he had to be there, could we have that chat with him on Wednesday?
How is he not sitting up there today, fellas?
Or Thursday?
Well, he was with his daughter at a graduation, which is clear.
Okay.
But I understand it.